Hello, everyone. Welcome to our conversation about what it means to be awakened. Thanks for joining Roger and I, and welcome to our homes. I am Lou Urban. I'm a transformational coach and energy worker. I concentrate primarily on removing energy blockages for people. And my co host is.
And I'm Roger Dawson. I'm a certified law of attraction life coach, certified hypnotherapist. Pardon me. And I too help people with some energy things. I also really like to focus on helping people find their abundance.
Awesome. So we wanted to have a conversation today about what it means to be awakened. There's a lot of talk these days about an awakening that's happening, and more of us are becoming awakened. And, I think that there's potentially some misconceptions for people about what that means. And so Roger and I wanted to have a conversation about this to help you understand at least our perspective on what it means to be awakened. And I'll start out by saying that I think that it's a journey. Would you agree with that, Roger?
I would agree. It's a journey, and it's kind of like the little squiggly lines that lead to success, right? So everyone thinks success is straight to the top, but it's really, all over the board. It looks like a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would
say, yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah, because I think that, when I first realized that I was becoming awakened, there was an expectation for me, at least, that, it's kind of like going from being asleep to being fully awake and conscious. Like it's one or the other. And as I'm on this journey of awakening, I'm coming to realize that is not it whatsoever. It is truly a journey that we move through stages where we are more awakened or more enlightened, and then sometimes we have to take a step backwards in order to evaluate where we were and what we need to adjust in order to continue our growth forward. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and here's why. Because that's right where I'm at. I too thought, oh gee, I'm gonna have the awakening, and the light's gonna come from above and shine on me.
Oh,
and I'm now walking amongst Jesus and his disciples, but that's not quite how it works. And so now the lights and all that stuff did happen, and I had this like big aha, but oh my, and then reality sets in, and then you go through all these things where, you kind of, oh, I'm right in line. I got all my synchronicities going on. And then there'll be a day where you don't have one. You're like, oh, I've lost it. No, you haven't lost it. You're just growing. It's like, you've got to learn to crawl before you walk. And so it's certainly a journey. I think that most of us somewhere so probably watching this certainly are on some type of a journey of awakening, and I'm not to judge where anyone's at on that journey. So because we all know right where that's at, and that's right where we're supposed to be.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. That there is those times where we may feel like we've lost it. We've lost that awakening, but sometimes I guess I look at it this way, that in those times, it's where we feel like we've lost that awakening. It's that we've fully integrated what has awoken already. Okay? So it's just that, sometimes there's this, I guess I look at it this way. When I started to awaken, there's a point in time that I can point to that says, that was the significant thing that started me on this path to awakening. Okay.
Yep. And got my day.
Most people can do that. They can point to that one point in time, that significant event. And since then it's been the container was this big. I talk about things as a container. The container was this big, and then it got this big. And I felt awakened when it moved from that to this. And then I had this space where I was reeling in the awakening until I integrated it. And then, okay, I'm good. I'm in that size of container now. And then more things awakened, and I went to, an even bigger container. Oh my gosh, I'm reeling in this. And so it feels sometimes like it's like you said, a heartbeat, where it's like, this up and down thing where it's, but it's all about as things awaken within us, we have to allow ourselves to integrate those.
Yes. And speaking of integration, oh my gosh, typically from my experience as I'm integrating something, half the time I don't know what the hell I'm integrating. I just feel like I've lost my mojo, my good things, my things that make me feel special about me. And it's the sleepless nights. It's well, I didn't see 444 today. I see that every day, whatever it is. And then kind of like, it must be like the last part of that shifting piece. I'm like, I've been integrating, shifting something along my, whatever it was. And I will tell you specifically, this last full moon cycle just jacked me up crazy.
You and I both.
Yeah, just crazy people that I've attracted in my life and different emotions. And so then you think, well, gee, what is it in me? If I'm this awakening person, why would I have this crazy chaos going on? Well, that's called integration. and it's an easy thing to forget about as you're living your day-to-day life that might resemble somewhat of hell. But, but boy, and after I kind of get there, that's what I was doing, then I find that I kind of skyrocket back up again.
Exactly.
To the next chapter of my journey, anyway.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I've had that experience lately too, where things have come up from the past, and sometimes we have to do that. We have to have those. Part of that integration is that things come up that we need to be able to resolve for ourselves, that are unresolved, in order to take the next step on the awakening. I've had 3 different people from my past come back into my life, and they were all 3 people that I thought, okay, I'm done with that. And all 3 of them have given me an opportunity to see things differently than I ever would have if they hadn't come back in. So there are things sometimes that come up during that integration that really help us to create the new platform for the next level of awakening. Mm-hmm. I guess I look at it this way, that, it's not that I'm asleep and I'm awake. That is so far the opposite of what it is. It's, okay, I'm really asleep. Okay, I'm a little less asleep. I'm a little less asleep. I'm a little less asleep. Mm-hmm. It's a process of waking up.
Yeah, agree. That's the thing. And and recently, maybe first of this year, I had started somehow attracting people into my life that talked more about this journey toward awakening, because I certainly had in the past read various books about that, and it seems like there's the light and the golden ball and all of this stuff, and poof, you're there. And I don't know that, at least the books I had attracted prior to this year hadn't really shown me that this was really more about the journey and the expansion of the soul, the body, the divine self that we are. And because, I just remember coming on 3 years ago when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going back. I've crossed the line, because I think that's part of this too. There's a point when you kind of really become very aware of this journey and you're on it. I'll say there for me, there hasn't been any going back. And I did think that, I'll do this next course, or I'll read this next book, and poof, I'll be the genie in the bottle. And and through that, I've realized that, this is a journey, and this is all about growing both horizontal and vertical in my knowledge of this enlightenment journey, awakening journey, whatever you want to call it. Because I certainly thought, I remember mine really happened in San Diego. at the Lowe's Hotel. And, and I lived that high for a good 90 days. I got into light body. I knew I was in this light body, and that was going to be the next thing. I was going to be, certainly a channel to whatever was out in the universe, all these guides. And what I will tell you is that everything that I've done since that awareness of that has brought me one step closer to where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And there's been tons of integration in there. And sometimes you're aware of it. I think sometimes it takes you, to say, oh my gosh, you've like grown,
Exactly.
I know the last time you gave me an energy treatment, you like, oh my gosh, you could tell all of the work that I had done, because it had probably been 6 months since we had done one.
Yes.
And so that's the thing. So I think that the thing I want to share with our audience is that this is a journey, and patience, where there is no time. Time's just a man-made thing, right? So it's all about the awareness of it. And as you're going through it, once you're on that path, you're just there's only forward. There's not really going back in this type of thing. So
I agree with you 100%. There is no going back. Once you've started the awakening, there is no going back. It's almost like it's a call from your soul, from your higher self, that when you start this process, it's going to continue. There is no going backwards. In order to honor ourselves, we have to continue on the path. And something that, since you brought up the energy work, something that, I share with people, there's only so much that can happen within a certain amount of time. Think about it this way. You have muscles that you haven't used for a while. Okay. And you can't go out and run a marathon when you haven't even walked a mile, in the last year. Okay. So it's all about building the muscle of awakening is really what it is, because the container can only take so much. We can only take so much. We can't awaken more than what we can handle, because otherwise we risk bursting our container. We risk death if we try to awaken too fast. And the soul won't allow us to go faster than what we can handle anyway. And so that's why it's a journey, is because we have to build up our spiritual, mental, energetic muscles to be able to handle this awakening as well.
Just like an athlete. Absolutely.
Just like an athlete. Yeah, absolutely.
I just know in the things that I've gone through, I would sometimes become disappointed in my spiritual growth because it wasn't as fast as I had wanted. And it was through a dear mentor of mine who, she's like, you're right where you should be, and that all of these things are happening for a reason, and you just can't snap your fingers and be there, because you've got to build the foundation.
Absolutely.
And just even thinking about, I'm a cardio person. And so I pretty much will get on the treadmill and do 3 miles Monday through Friday. Dark earlier in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to a fitness coach. And I'm like, I come to realize that it doesn't matter whether I do it 5 days a week, 7 days a week. It hasn't really made any difference, other than it probably does help my stress. But as far as the scale goes and the way my body's shaped, not seeing it. So, I'm going to keep it up just because it's the thing I should do. And she was like, well, your body has gotten used to what you're doing. You got to change things up. And so what I want to bring back to is that on this journey, you're going to have those solid weeks where you are talking to the angels, right? And you're receiving those downloads. You're going to have a dry spell.
Absolutely.
And you've got to have that expansion that kind of, it goes in, it goes out. I liked the way you were doing your container example, because that's spot on. And so instead of being disappointed with myself, I got to where I would love myself more during those odd times. Mm-hmm. And so now, therefore, those odd times have become less frequent, but and like, I try to meditate every day as another example, but there's just sometimes I don't. And I will tell you, since I've slowed down my meditation practice some, I feel like I am stronger when they're more intense.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do and what works for you is okay needs to be okay with you, and you should love yourself for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the rules of this world, is that if we think about the awakening journey as if we sprinted our way to the finish line, would we be burnt out by the time we get there? There has to be periods of sprinting and periods of rest along the way in order to be able to get there.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, and I tend to be hard on myself, and that has really kind of been my, again, dear mentor, incredible lady, really kind of, got me slow down enough to realize that and to be okay with it. And once I did that, then the growth started again. So, and I remember that sometimes whenever I feel like my growth is not where I would want it to be, that's the time to slow down, take it all in, and just enjoy, just be.
Absolutely. Right? Because this whole awakening is really about finding that place of greater self-love. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what it means. It's about honoring myself as part of the collective. So that means that greater self-love for me, greater love for the collective as a whole. And so if I'm pushing myself too hard to get to the finish line, am I really, honoring who I am? Am I really loving myself? Or am I just pushing myself beyond what it is that I can even handle?
Something that, so as you were saying that, it occurred to me just in life, because I can tie it back to my San Diego experience. That was coming on 3 years ago, this June, into May, June. But this all started with me being a seeker of information about the law of attraction. What is this? Yeah. And then it occurred to me, because I know that I always tell people that what started out as understanding the law of attraction, and I did so many things before I actually even watched the movie The Secret, but then this has turned into a spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
And I, just something that occurred to me, and I don't even, how would you ever know, because that's such a personal thing. But I wonder how many people perhaps started trying to understand this law of attraction, the secret thing, how to use your mind to create the things that you want out of life, that have landed in a spiritual place. I would venture to guess it probably is a lot. Let's just go for a lot. That's probably a number. So too. But that was just like, I really wonder, because for me, I'm one of the lots. That's where it was at, and sometimes people think spiritual. Like, oh, what's it mean? Oh no, I mean, I still drink, cuss, and raise hell too, right? But it's a part of my spiritual journey. So
exactly, everything. I think that the spiritual journey is not necessarily that we eliminate anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever's right for the person is right for the person. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to figure out what's right for you. It's not about elimination. It's about inclusion more than anything else. It's about opening up to possibilities.
And we know this universe is an inclusion-based universe.
Absolutely.
Love how you said that, because that so ties that together.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Absolutely, I agree. So Roger, we've talked for a little while about this. Is there anything that you think that we've missed that we need to share?
I don't know if there's anything that we've missed or need to share, but I would want to just remember, this is a journey.
Yes.
And as Lou said, if you ran a sprint all 65 years of your life, you're going to wear out. So just remember, when you lose touch of those goosebumps, they'll come back. Slow down and take it all in. So how about you, Lou?
Yeah, I agree with you, Roger. That's probably part of it. a part of the message that people need to know is that the expectation of going from asleep to fully awake is not a realistic one, and a reminder to enjoy the journey. Take it all in. Unless you slow down, sometimes you can't really see and enjoy what's happening.
Yeah, slow down and smell the tulips.
Absolutely, yes. Well, we thank you for joining us for this conversation today. If you'd like to know anything more about Roger, you can certainly reach out to him through his website, rogerkdawson.com, right?
Correct.
rogerkdawson.com. Sorry about that. Or if you'd like to reach out to me, you can get me through my website, louurban.com. We certainly would love to have a conversation with you in regards to anything that you have thoughts about this. Please let us know if you'd like to discuss anything that we've talked about today. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye, everyone.
Bye.